Greeting interwebs, it's Jackie K, and welcome back for some more Mad Rat Dead. If I recall correctly, like last time, Mad Rat got out of the cave, began the hunt towards the human, met this heart, and now our Mad Rat friends is going to gather up a posse of fellow abused, upset rats that want revenge as well, and we're going to take down the human, once and for all. Heart really has a pessimistic way of looking at it. I don't look at it as making accomplices, I look at it as making friends to help guide under a common goal towards freedom and justice. Now let's ignore the fact that this game has the first 10 seconds of music loop until the level actually starts for every cutscene, and how it's most prominent here, and try to make some friends with the rats. As they say, an enemy of my enemy is my friend, so surely all these rats have got their own beef against the human or so. How's the weather? What's the latest event in Pokemon Go? Surely there's a conversation topic to make this cutscene drag out a tiny bit less. Yeah, I mean, they probably could have cut down one or two rat interactions and gotten the same general point. Because I like what the narrative's trying to go for, what it's trying to set up in this particular scene. But especially because you can't skip cutscenes in this game, the best you can do is speed your way through them, I think. There's times the game can take a little bit to get to action more than it should. Honestly though, I think this is the worst offender out of all the cutscenes in the game. And part of it is that loop. And I'll admit, the commentary that I've watched before this pointed it out to me, and that's half the reason why I'm fixated on it as well. But it is a criticism I agree with, so just because it was pointed out to me doesn't mean that I'm just parroting it in my own commentary. And the narrative between Rat and Heart that they slip in along the way is good for character development and storytelling. I don't need to drag on the topic anymore. I'm making the cutscene and making everything drag out longer than it needs to be. It's also been a minute since I've last recorded the last episode. I'm just trying to get a good bulk of this going at once, because even though I'm planning on only uploading once a week, I really want to make sure that once I start, I don't have to take a break just because I ran out of commentaries to record. That and the twice a week playthrough that I started up, that I thought was just going to be direct streambot uploads. The more I watch through it, the more I think it would be worth taking a little bit of time to edit down things for it. Cause it's another Pokemon game and the battles kind of drag out a little bit more than Let's Go Eevee. And I was honestly already pushing it with Let's Go Eevee fighting, leaving in all the trainer fights along the way. So I think point being that now I have two projects that I'm editing instead of just this one. So I'm a little concerned that I might be putting this on the back burner a bit more, because I'm taking more time to actually edit this thing that gets uploaded more frequently. But I mean, if you're seeing this, then I must be at least confident that I can go at least a month without running out of Mad Rat Dead to share with you all. So there is that. But yeah, I can't even remember the last time I played this game, which is a bit of a shame because I never even finished it on my main playthrough. It's kind of just got to a point that I've gotten so far in recording it for this playthrough, or this YouTube series, that I'm kind of thinking that I'm just gonna not play any deeper into it until I just record the rest of the Let's Play. I enjoy replaying the past levels enough that if I'm gonna play the game, I might as well just make some progress on what I'm recording for this playthrough. And who knows, maybe there will be some day that I'm just not feeling up to even setting up the mic, and I'll make a little more progress in the main file there. I got a feeling that by the time I actually start releasing this project, I'll at least made up my mind whether to call this a first through or just a normal Jackie K plays. Right now, those kind of lean more towards the first through side. So, to summarize everything that I talked over, Mad Rat had no luck. None of the other rats wants to help him kill the human. They don't really even understand why he wants to kill the human. And now he's gonna make a jackrat out of himself, and there's no way that's gonna come back to bite him in the butt. But yeah, Mad Rat really is one of a kind. You see all these other rats chillin', vibing, without a care in the world. It's like they're rats or something. Cute little rats that just constantly fed, taken care of, and don't have any worries. Nothing to worry about. I kinda wonder if they even blinked an eye at that whole speech and spiel that Mad Rat gave them all. See ya, losers. Well, that could basically be some too. As you can see, I'm never gonna get tired of the fact that I can press X to give myself a little air dash. That, or I want to practice it to make sure I don't forget, because I really don't feel confident in myself to remember even something simple like that. Reminder that I got through like half, if not 3/4 of this game without even realizing that I could dash. Don't ask how I got through the tutorial, I'm still trying to figure that out myself. Well, I mean, I think I know exactly how I did it. Like, if you have yourself right at the edge, you can get through with the 2 dashes that they give you. A minor oversight in the game, I suppose. Speaking of oversights, I probably could have timed that better. Probably if I didn't waste that dash so early on, I could have not died. Or, you know, I could have just cleared the platform like I am right now the first time. That's an option too. Shout outs to the music though. Still enjoying the music, always enjoying the music. I probably shouldn't like keep showing it off by not talking for a little bit, cause from what I can tell, this game kind of has a history of getting like, I don't know if DMCA is the right term, but there's been a history of people re-uploading it to YouTube because it's a nice solid soundtrack, and you can't actually get it on iTunes or Spotify or anywhere like that. So not too many people actually know about it unless you actually play the game. However, this is all secondhand, and when I say secondhand, I mean the one music soundtrack place that I was listening to this music from had people talking about it in the YouTube comments, so take that with a grain of salt. Take it with the same grain of salt that you would with my competency on this video game. Like, you know, it's kind of a little tangent. It's kind of weird that, like, there's so many different metaphors with salt. And the two I'm thinking of are on drastically different sides. Like, there's salty, which would mean that you have a lot of salt because you have a lot of salt towards my gameplay. Or you could take my gameplay with a grain of salt, and it'd be a tiny amount because you're not giving me that much credit for it. It's funny how it works both ways, but means the same thing. It's just the beauty of the English language. And by beauty, I mean just completely nonsensical it is. Another example of the English language at its finest. How did I get on the tangent of salt again? Oh yeah. Soundtrack of this game. How limitedly accessible it is. Because the creators of the game often take it down. And when you're just literally re-uploading the music, that's honestly fair ground, because you don't own the rights to it, so I guess it makes sense that the creators would want it down. But it's just a shame that it's like the only way I can take up to listen to it, because the alternative is like a Japanese soundtrack CD or something like that, and that's of course exclusive to that region. There's not really a good way that I can think of, at least of recording this, that you can actually listen to this game's soundtrack. If something does come up, feel free to let me know, because like, if you're seeing this gameplay and it's not vibing with you, the soundtrack is definitely worth a buy in and of itself. I do believe this game has a sound test or something that does function just like that in the main menu, so worst case scenario, if you pick up the game, there's at least that. You can probably listen to music that way, though I think you have to actually unlock it by playing through the game itself to actually get the music, so that might be a problem if you're bad at the game, or like worse than I am. As bad as the game I am at, I guess it's a good reminder that the game is pretty generous. I can make all these mistakes and still not really worry about running out of time, but don't you worry, dear viewer, there will certainly be levels later on in this adventure where I really push the limit of that timer. I'm quite a few episodes ahead, but I don't think I've gotten to a point of getting a game over yet. But at the rate I'm going, it's gonna happen once, and it's gonna suck, because I think I've said it before, but again, if that timer reaches 0, game over, start over from the beginning of the level. You may even have to sit for all the cutscenes again. So imagine getting a game over on this level when the cutscene already dragged on as long as it is. That's probably the worst combination that I can think of to run into while playing this game. It's rather quite the shame. Also, I'm pretty sure there's at least some point around here that I start complaining about the homing attack. Right here, when I decide to retry, I think I make a bad pun somewhere, but I'm not gonna spoil it for you. You'll have to watch the outtakes whenever it comes out. But it wasn't, I don't even think it was an intentional pun, but my general policy is I'll admit when I didn't mean it, but I'll never apologize for making it, even if it wasn't intended. At least as a general rule. Maybe someday I'll accidentally make a pun that's so terrible I'll have to actually apologize for it. But considering the types of content creators that I grew up on the internet watching, and the type of people that I enjoy listening to now, yeah, you're gonna be hard pressed for me to find a pun that I really don't like. I may not flex my pun powers, maybe not be as punsitive as some other people on the webs, but I beat Lee. I have the potential to really stretch out my wordplay and make it run in a rather calm and lovely symphony. And like that drop, sometimes my wordplay is so blunt, the sound of fingers on a chalkboard are more pleasant. But there's definitely room for both types of wordplay. There's definitely a type of appeal. Despite what the internet may tell you, the best pun is usually one that's so good that it goes completely unnoticed and no one even points it out because it's too subtle for anyone to even pick up. But some of the most entertaining puns are the ones that are so bad that there's no way for people to ignore it. And it's not even the pun itself that's entertaining, it's the way that people react to it. By the way, shoutouts to that S+ rank that I managed to get even with all the resets I've had to do along the way. And I don't mind this, it's just another exchange between Heart and Mad Rat regarding just like the logistics of a tiny rat trying to kill a giant human and the morale behind it maybe. This comes up a few times. If you're interested, I do go for the text slow enough to read along, but I'm not gonna worry too much about it. After all, I'm on a drum roll with this wordplay, so we got oh, and that's the end of Mad Rat. Dead again. Thanks for playing. Yep, that's the music for our next level. I guess they really didn't like my puns. Anyways, before we get into something even more climatic, let me finish up my story with the wordplay. You know how some people love bad puns and some people hate bad puns? Like, really hate bad puns? I don't get that. Like, maybe it's just... I think it's been put to science before that just... Depending on if you're more left brain oriented or right brain oriented, that for some people, it's fun and it appeals to them happily, and it appeals to other people negatively, to the point of like, don't want to say pain, but making them legit angry. And that's just the part that I've always tried to understand, but never could grasp. Like, why does saying something terrible, or saying something... Why is butchering the English language get on people's nerves so much? It's just a bunch of words, and as long as you understand what someone's saying at the end of the day, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. That's at least what my brain tries to process and understand every single day. And I'm not sure if I want to say it, because it feels like this part says more about myself than about other people. But I actually get a lot of humor out of things that frustrate people or annoy them that I feel shouldn't be frustrating or annoying. It's like sadistic humor in a safe space. Best example I can bring up is 99% of the game commentaries on YouTube, on Twitch. Just when you're watching someone struggling through a video game, and if you get entertainment out of it, that's like kind of what I'm talking about. They're technically suffering, but not to a degree that is actually hurting them. So like triggers that part of your brain that's laughs at humor, that's in a, well, I'm glad that's not me sort of situation. But you don't feel guilty about it because you know they're not actually suffering from it. They're either playing it up or it's not as big of a deal as they're making it. And I guess I get a similar feeling when I see someone make a bad pun and they get mad at it. Huh? Did anyone else notice something? Maybe my capture card's dropping frames again. That'd be freaking annoying. But yeah, I don't think I've actually had enough friends or been in enough social situations where I could make a pun off the top of my head and actually get a reaction to know if I actually enjoy or not enjoy doing it myself. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't be surprised if I enjoy watching other people make bad puns, but not actually making them myself, because I know it's like I'm very sensitive to drama. To the point where, like, if they make the pun, I don't have to suffer the consequences for it. But if I make the pun, I have to deal with their anger directly, and like, maybe like I find it funny because I don't think they should actually be mad at it, but maybe I would because if I actually could feel that they were genuinely upset. I just haven't been in enough situations to know for sure. I mean, like, I may not be a social person, but even I can tell that something weird's going on here. Like, the frame drops are weird enough as is. It's almost like TV static, but something's odd with the rats, too. Can't quite put my fingers on it. But something strange is certainly going on with them. Like, it's bad enough that we had to come all the way back here with our tail between our legs, pardon the expression. Wait, didn't I just say earlier on that I would acknowledge when I didn't mean to do a pun, but not forgive for it? Well, I think it's safe to say that there's something strange going on here. Pretty sure rats don't just say, "ah." No, that's me at a bad day at work. These rats were just innocent and free without care in the world just earlier, and now they're freaking attacking our rat friend? I don't know why the heart's freaking out. You can't blame him for wanting to defend himself. And wait, the rat's back to normal now? I just realized this could be like the game's way of like teaching you what to do for what's coming up ahead without actually doing it in the game itself. I don't know if it's even necessary to like do in the game itself, but hey, we got our first boss fight of the game against the fellow lab rats. Yep, there are boss fights in this game, and it's going about as well as you might suspect. Can you imagine doing this without like the dash? Well, it'll become more apparent later, as like they throw more rats into the mix, and more obstacles to avoid, and like you have to clear so much ground before hitting the ground in order to actually like not get hit by something. Yeah, it would be a shame if someone had to go through this boss fight without realizing you could press the X button to charge to make your next dash go twice the length it normally would. Like, I bet a person in that situation would have died much earlier on in this fight. So, this was supposed to be a redemption for myself. But then I just freaking, like, go for that death several times in a row, and, like, if there's any, then, like, the homing attack doesn't work. Like, there are certain ways to get it to work, but as you can tell, it never really sticks with me, because it feels like there are situations... It's so trivial what you have to do to make it work versus how to make it not work. That's so easy to forget, and it doesn't seem nonsensical, and I'm gonna keep harping on it until the end of the playthrough. The homing attack sucks! And I bet like a lot more people would like this game. It'd be a lot easier recommendation if just like any time you do the homing attack or something, it would homing attack, and you wouldn't have like these weird stipulations of like if you just sometimes if you dash before doing a homing attack it won't work, or something else, or like those other times that I'm sure will happen later on. And Rambo, Scramble. Name the DK country level that everyone dies in all the time here, because it has to do with the thorns that rhyme with Scramble. I think it's Ramble, or I think it's Bramble, but I'm kind of forgetting now. But yeah, as I was playing for this on my own, one thing I'll echo from the live commentary, this boss is a lot more fun when you can do that. Just dash over both of them at once using the charge. And use the charge to like clear your way out all that goo. Man, like, it's almost like this game was made for that feature or something that I was ignoring. Oof. Okay, nothing I could do to prepare myself for that. Like, sure, maybe you could have saw the one rat gone left instead of right, but there wasn't really a good way to like tell in advance. Again, it's a great game in concept, but there are these little things that kind of just add up over time, unfortunately. Like, and part of it is just an element of it being a rhythm game. Other elements are just like, maybe could be fixed up with a little more polish. God, I don't like the homing attack! Like, you got those freaking 3-4 rats there. What the heck am I supposed to do with that fifth one? I like get myself trapped all the way over there, and I got no way to get back even with the dash, because I can't dash after the homing attack, maybe because I dashed already. I think this is one of those areas of the fight that I just got stuck in for a good solid minute. I don't even know how I got myself out of it, to be perfectly honest. But hey, I mean, we're out. That's the big thing I can be thankful for. Alright, now just wait for them all to be clear at once. And I'm sure if I try to push it too early, that I'll get stuck again. And I'm sure you'll see what I mean, because I have zero confidence that I'll actually follow my word. And I'm already getting stuck before the part that I was predicting to get stuck in. So maybe this time. Come on. Alright. Coast should be clear. Homing attack, attack. And the dash gets me back over there. Again, how could I have cleared that area without the dash earlier on? And again, I feel like the dash kind of, like, I would feel a lot worse about this if I didn't know the dash exists. But based on, like, the 1 or 2 playthroughs I've seen, it feels like a common criticism with the game are the boss fights. As you can tell, they, like, are a lot more enclosed than the rest of the game, and really just doesn't play to the game's strength when you're, like, trying to constantly navigate around this small space. Again, though, I do feel like the dash really, like, negates a bit of the criticism that this would be otherwise. But there's still, like, some situations where, like, if you were, like, if it was, like, a Mario boss, like, final boss in Mario 3D World, example, or I guess even the final boss in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, where the boss fight actually plays more like a level than actual combat, that it would work a lot better to this particular game's strengths. Again, we'll see this a bit more as we come across more boss fights later on in the game. I'm just a little conflicted if I agree with that or not, because the more time I spend with these levels, especially like knowing the frickin' dash exists, and I'm pretty sure they actually did know the dash exists in their own playthroughs, but I actually find the enclosed space boss fights a little bit fun. Like, the biggest problem I can see with that one is just like, there are a lot of elements in Mad Rat Dead where you just can't frickin' see what's coming in advance, so it kind of boils down to trial and error sometimes, and it becomes really apparent in the boss fights. That's one thing that's still apparent in those fights. Also, yeah, Mad Rat murdered all those rats. They're all dead now. We didn't just free them from those weird things possessing them, knocking them out and they'll just wake up eventually. They're freaking gone. Forever. And all they want to do is just live happy and free without a care in the world. It's not looking too good for Mad Rat either, but we'll have to figure out what the heck is going on with him in the next one. This is Jacket K, and I do not condone random rat violence. See y'all later.